Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, where after a while, the little voice in your head says, why am I watching this? Well, good morning and welcome to the special Saturday edition. It's going to be a beautiful day today. It's going to be in the 80s. And when you get this close to Memorial Day and it's still not rocking and rolling about 100 degrees, we are happy people. So, it never sticks. It just teases us. It makes us think, oh boy, this is not going to be a blistering hot summer. And it always is. So, but I'll take it. I will take it. It's going to be great. Hey, this episode today is going to concentrate on sellers. So even if you're buying, let's look at what some of the options are for sellers when it comes to listing your home, because the market's really tight right now and homes are selling really quick. And when that happens, you find yourself with even more options than normal. So I'm going to go over a few of those. And then that helps you make a decision when you go to list your home. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go traditional? You want to go discount? You want to go for sale by owner? So we're going to kind of walk through these things. I'm going to tell you the pros and cons, and I'm going to do the best I can to keep from getting sued. So I'm going to try that, and because you're not supposed to say anything disparaging about anybody else that's a member of the multiple listing service, and I'm not. I'm just going to tell you what the programs are, show you what the fees are, and you guys can decide for yourself. So it's a very interesting business. And the first one that we see is that there are 3 or 4 companies that we call iBuyers. In other words, you can put your address up there and you'll get an online offer. A lot of tips and tricks to this to get this done. And I'm going to show you a few of them here. And the biggest one here in the Valley is Opendoor, and you've all heard of it. But one of the things that you should know right away is that there's only certain price points that they purchase from. You don't seem to be purchasing anything above 400,000 right now. And that's a little harder for them because their available homes are drying up. So they're averaging, if I look here, they're averaging, $358,000 in purchases. So in April, Opendoor purchased 200 homes, OfferPad purchased 116, Zillow 52, Redfin, they're kind of new to the game. They purchased 5, and every time I see knock, they're 0 to 1. You've probably never even heard a knock, and they are knocking at our door, but nobody hears them. So they're not doing great. So anyways, showing that their median purchase price for Opendoor is $375. The median sales price is $343. That's kind of interesting. So here's how it works. In Opendoor, you can get an offer right away. You can do a video walkthrough, and that's really important because they need to see more of your house. Sometimes you try to describe them, what your kitchen looks like, and they're trying to make you an offer without being inside the house. The more you can show them, the better your offer will be. And the advantage is that when you sell to Opendoor, you'll get an instant offer and you can choose your closing date. So let's say you fill this out today and you get an offer today. You can say, okay, I want to accept this. And then they'll start the ball rolling. And then you get to say, well, I don't want to close till the end of June. Great. Okay. Now you don't get paid until the end of June, but you get to pick your closing date. You get to move on your schedule. And it says here you skip showings and repairs. Yes, you do, but I'm going to tell you what you're going to run into here in a minute. So that's Opendoor. Now, they've got a new service here they're offering that's so new, I know very little about it. And that is that you can list with Opendoor. And what they're saying, we'll help you put your home on the market to maximize your sales price. Super. What kind of fees am I going to run into? Sell your home at a higher price and attract more buyers with a $10,000 interest-free advance for renovations. That's interesting. They're going to advance you $10,000 interest-free so you can make repairs or improvements. That's a pretty good deal. There are programs, traditional programs out there that can do the same thing for you. But that's a good carrot. I like that. Save on fees. Pay just 5% in fees. That's 1% less than traditional 6% and thousands in savings. Well, maybe. If you look around the MLS right now, and you guys don't see the kind of visibility that I do, but I'm going to tell you that the average commission now is running between 4 and 5% total, buyer side, seller side. So traditional 6%, that's not always carved in stone. So I'm gonna go over that as well. And expertise at every step. What I don't know is when you list with Opendoor, are they putting a lockbox on it for agents to have access? Are you showing the home? So those are the kind of details you need to look at. Now Zillow's doing the same thing. You can get Zillow offers. You can fill it out. Zillow seems to be buying at a little higher price point than Opendoor, and I think they are looking at. Let's see, they're well, no, they used to. They're sitting there at 333.9, and they do the same thing. I'm going to tell you what their fees are in just a second, and then here's OfferPad. So OfferPad's number. If I look at the ranking here, OfferPad's number 2, Zillow's number 3. So Zillow. Now it's interesting that Zillow's number 3 in Arizona, because they don't really have to advertise. Everybody knows Zillow. You're all going to Zillow to see what your home's worth. So they don't have to create this advertising to get you to go to Zillow because you're already going there. OfferPad and Opendoor, they have a large advertising budget to get people to show up on their website. Zillow doesn't have that expense. They just added an extra tab to their website, Sell My Home. And people are doing it. They're using it. So what kind of fees can you expect? Well, right off the bat, they don't charge commissions. They call them service fees, and their service fee is 7.5%. So if you look at a $328,000 home, which is their average, right, that they've purchased, your fees, if you sell it to them for $328,000, are $24,600. Now they if you look and say, I'm going to take a $328,000 home, 328,000 times 0.05. That's the average right now that get on the MLS. That's 16,400. Then all three of these come in and do an inspection of your home. And they say they get estimates from their contracted repair people, and they just send you an email that says, we're going to discount your offer price by $5,000 because of the following repairs. And they're going to list them all out. That's an added expense that you need to be prepared for. Now, at that point, you can say, no, Mas, I'm not playing. I'm out. I had with one of these companies, and here's where I'm going to try not to get sued. I was helping, and you can get real estate agents to help you with this too. You can have an agent fill out your Opendoor, Zillow, and OfferPad information and represent you, and they will pay the agent 1%, and it doesn't add to your offer price. Okay. Now the agent can walk through and negotiate all kinds of things with you, including repairs. Although my success rate with one of these companies on repairs was ridiculous. They told us that it needed $10,000 in paint inside and out, and they had just painted the inside and out 2 months prior. And when the inspector came out, he even commented, he says, boy, did they just paint this place? It looks great. And I go, yeah, they did. They painted it in July. And this was like September, I think we were out there. And the word paint was not mentioned anywhere in the report we got, but they wanted $10,000 in paint allowances. And I finally just told them, I said, this is nothing more than a $10,000 shakedown. And so we walked away from the deal. Now, the advantage is on any of these three companies is no showings, no hassle. Look, if you got a lot of equity and they're coming in and they're offering to buy your house cash, and they can get you out in a couple of weeks, or you can choose your closing date, you're paying a fee for that convenience, and that's understandable. So if you want to avoid all those transactions and you just want a quick, smooth sale, either one of these three are probably going to be the deal for you. So I'm not whitewashing them and saying that they're all terrible, but something to look at. I did help one couple that they were in a position where they were in financial trouble and they had to have some help. And I said, well, I can probably sell it for this. But remember, I'm using the word probably. You have an offer from Opendoor right now that you like, that's right there. I'd say take it and we could be done in a week. And Opendoor came back with a few repairs, maybe $3,000, but we got them out, got them cashed out. And a couple of years later, they were able to get everything back on track and get in and purchase a home. That situation worked fabulous for them. So no complaints there. The other ones that I see, and these are kind of interesting, is that you're going to see agents or some of these brokerages that charge very small commissions, listing fees. I know one in particular that charges $799 to list your house. Now, why on earth would an agent do that? You're still going to pay 2.5% to 3% for the buyers, right? So for the buyer commission. But why do agents go in with such deep discounts? It doesn't work very well now for the agent when the market is so brisk. But sometimes open houses are called storefronts. And if you get a listing for $799 and you've got 2 weekends of open houses in here trying to find a buyer, you've got 2 weekends where you're meeting buyers. You're meeting buyers that are openly looking for a house. You're gathering their information, what they want, and you're going to get a buyer commission down the road. So that's their way of meeting buyers while giving you a break on the commission. But now that the market's so brisk, you don't see very much of that now. $799 for commissions. So you tend to see more of that when there's more inventory. So if you find one, run with it. But keep in mind, for $799, you may not get as much attention as you want from the agent, but it's hard to tell. There's another one out there that is advertising heavily that, that they could sell your house over a 3-day period. And I'm not going to mention the name. But this one I find very interesting because I looked on this site and they're comparing it and saying, and they have a testimonial on there that says, oh, it was great. They built up all this pent up demand and interest for my home. And then when we had the open house on the weekend, all kinds of people came in, versus getting into a long-term contract with an agent and having showings for several months and paying that high commission. Well, none of that's true. You're comparing what they're able to do in this hot market to what maybe it was like a few years ago, that it took, a few weeks, a few months to sell a house, and you had to have all this traffic through your house. So essentially right now, all that traffic that you were getting a traditional way when the market was slow, they're cramming into a 3-day period. Right now, it's pretty common to get 30, 40 people a day coming through your house when you have an open house. Now, what about the anticipation, the pent-up demand? Well, what they're doing is they're just using the MLS function of the coming soon listing. They're just putting it on as coming soon and saying, here it is, this listing's coming up, but you can't see it until Saturday. So now you're like, oh man, really? So you can't wait to see it because you know that, people it looks like a good price, you're ready to go. And then everybody goes in at the same time Saturday. Everybody sees all the other people there. You're like, oh my God, I got to bid more on this house. Look, there's 5 people in the kitchen already. That couple has their tape measure. We got to bid high to get this. So that's what happens. And then they tell you that you can live in there for several months. Well, that's called a lease back. So you can do that with any agent anywhere. Any agent can also put your home on the MLS and list it as a coming soon. Now, is there additional marketing that they do? That's what I would ask them. Okay, you're putting it on the market, on the MLS as a coming soon. Tell me what else you're doing and show me what you do to get people interested in this home besides a Facebook post. A Facebook post doesn't do that much. Facebook buyers, as a rule, are really not that serious. They just kind of scrolling through and go, oh, look, so you might get 1 or 2. But be specific when you're interviewing these companies. Don't just let them say, oh, we do all this marketing, all this advertising. Oh, I'll get you on 200 websites. Every real estate agent can get you on 200 websites with the click of a mouse. It's called syndication. You just click this mouse on the MLS. Yes, I want to syndicate the listing. Don't take any expertise. Don't take any magical software. You're just clicking one little box. So the agent that's only sold 1 house a year can get you on 200 websites. And the service that wants to sell your home within 3 days can do the same thing. It's the same box in the MLS. Click. So ask them specifically what they can do outside of the MLS and Facebook to advertise. Do they have another system? Are they advertising on Google? because Google's a good one. Are they running ads on Google? Are they putting ads in print, which doesn't make sense in this market because by the time you get it printed, your house is sold. So print is kind of dead, isn't it? So now the other one is for sale by owner, folks. And I'm going to show you this one. And this is the most popular one, Fizbo.com. And they have a couple packages here for you. One's $99, one's $3.99. And the $99 package says that you can list for 6 months. Somebody wants to get a hold of me. I'm going to have to wait there for a moment. Unlimited photos and one video upload. But you're taking the photos. Okay, so, and you can upload a video. So they're giving that to you. That's great. 24/7 access to edit or cancel listing at any time. Well, you get to go in and change anything you want for that $99. Yard signs and supplies are sold separately. So if you want to put a for sale sign up, you got to buy it. And so you just go with the cheap 99 package. Now, kick it up to $3.99, and you're going to be on the MLS and Fizbo.com. Now, getting on the MLS is crucial, very important, because if you look at how many people are going to Fizbo.com, it pales in comparison to the MLS. None of the agents are going to forsalebyowner.com and looking for listings. So we're all looking at it on the MLS. There's just too much information there. Listing syndication on Zillow and Realtor.com, Truly and more. Remember that mouse click? That's all you do. Click, you get the syndication that real estate agents do. Buyer broker commissions required. In other words, you got to pay the buyer's agent between 2 and 3%. Other options based on state. So how much do you save on something like this? You'll save about 2.5% versus just going with a regular real estate agent. Now, I don't know how much support they give you on the contract side. So when you get a hold of them, that's what you want to ask. So you're doing it for sale by owner. Somebody saw that on there. Now, if a real estate agent is bringing you this buyer because he saw it on the MLS, then they're going to draft all the paperwork and everything. You'll be unrepresented. So you might want to ask them, how much do you represent me in this sale? Or anything that you can help me with? Are you going to help me with the inspection report and negotiating fees? Or is this all on me? So get those kinds of questions answered. If you're just going for sale by owner and you're just putting it on Zillow, your success rate is pretty minimal, because even though Zillow gets a lot of hits, for sale by owner, you've got people walking in. You don't know if they're pre-qualified or not. You have to do all the documents. You're going to have to, get ready to sell this thing with very little practice of putting a real estate deal together. And you're going to be overwhelmed because you have to schedule the showings. And so they're going to call you. And so, it's going to be tough. Good morning, ST1 and Bar 60. Good to see you on this Saturday morning. Got a little chat thing going on there. So I think for sale by owner can save you some money, but really put a pencil to it and say, in this brisk market, am I saving this money? So let's drift over right now to a traditional real estate agent and brokerage, because there's few misconceptions out there. And one of them is that when I go with the traditional agent and I sign the listing agreement, I'm locked in for 6 months. No, you're not. You can negotiate whatever term you want. Typically what I do is I tend to go 60 days because you're on the market and it probably takes 30 to 45 days to close, and 60 days keeps me listed with them until the transaction is seen all the way through to the end. But I always had a line to say, you can cancel this contract at any time in writing, and the writing can just be an email. So when I do a listing agreement, I tell people, if I don't do any of the things that I'm telling you that I'm going to do, you can walk away at any time, no hard feelings. Just send me an email, Rick, this isn't working. I'm going to go another path. Some agents won't do that. Some brokerages won't do that. So shop that around. You want your flexibility. The number one complaint that people get with agents is communication. They put the listing on, they don't hear from them. They're not calling them and giving them updates. Hey, how many people came through the house? Do they like it? Do they not? Nowadays, you can list a house on a Thursday. The party's pretty over by Saturday night. You've probably got a buyer. On average now, we're seeing 5.5 offers per home. So going traditional agent, it's not all 6%. So it's 5%. So if you were going to do a for sale by owner with a traditional agent, you're going to get more traffic, you're going to get more qualified buyers, and you'll probably get a higher price than what you were trying to save in that commission. And you're not doing any of the work. You're not putting the yard sign up. You're not directly answering the phone calls. So in a brisk market like this, that may not be the way to go. Those are pros and cons. When negotiating with a real estate agent, most people tend to sit down and concentrate on price. They'll bring in 3 agents and go, Bob said I can get this price. Julie said I can get this price. Chuck said I can get this price. They go with the highest price. That's kind of folly in this market. You don't need to do that because the market's going to determine your price. I can sit you down and go, I think your home's worth $525. And you're going to get 10 people looking at it. And now they're going $550. Okay, so let's say I come in and go, I think you're going to get $550. And then you go with the other agent and says, well, you're roughly kind of running around $525. And you're not going to choose them because they didn't give you a higher price. And you picked me, and I'm the worst agent on the planet. You got screwed. So you want to ask the right questions. So what do you ask a real estate agent? Go ahead and ask about price. Get a feel for what's going on in the neighborhood. And going back 3 months now and pulling comps, it just doesn't do anybody any good. Because 3 months ago, houses were worth 10% less than they are now. So you can look at it and go, okay, a house identically to yours down the street sold for $400,000. Add 10% to that. That puts you at about $440,000. Let's start there. But don't hang your hat on it. Just go ahead and start there, $440,000. You're going to start getting offers. The market will tell you what your home is worth. But I want to know what kind of photos my agent is going to take. If they're this, I don't want to talk to you. I want to see high quality photos because there are so many buyers from out of state. I want to see 360 virtual tours where I can walk through the house. I want the photo quality to be good. I don't really care if I have video. If I've got video of the neighborhood and there's some drone shots, that's fabulous because then that shows you the neighborhood. But I can look at a house and I can go to Google search anyway and hit satellite and find out if the house next door is a salvage yard. So I can do that. But I like drone footage. I like being able to see. So I want as much as I possibly can. So what are the fees? A real estate agent pays between $100 and $150 for professional HD photos. So that's not breaking the bank. And a 3D tour probably runs about the same, about $75 to $140, depending on the tour. If it's Matterport, which is the best one, those are running about $100. So the agent's going to put out about $250 to showcase your home. The advantage of Matterport are the people that are from out of state that can't see the home. Sometimes you just need to be able to walk through to get an idea on the floor plan. Now, some of these other services that I talked to you about, for sale by owner and the MLS package, you can hire a Matterport person to come in and do a 360 video and put that on that website. Zillow is also allowing you to put Matterport on their site. Matterport is the leader in 3D photography. And so here's Barstrong says, thank you about photos. I've seen some that scare me. Filthy, dirty homes. Well, even the best photo can't clean up a dirty home. But your home has to be showcased. So I tend to get on my soapbox about that when I'm getting agents. Now, if you're getting an agent that's going to come in and list your home for 1%, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's really easy to put a home on the market, but if you're going to list my home for 1%, are you also going to do those other things? I don't want to put it on for 1%, but find out that they're not giving me an HD photo package. They're not giving me the 360 photos. I'm not going to have any drone shots if the house is applicable. So maybe I want to ask them what they can do for 2%. You have all of that flexibility with a traditional agent that you have with every one of these other things that I showed you. But don't get pigeonholed into someone saying that it's 6%. If you go with me, it's just 6%. We have all the options as individual agents that we want. You can ask an agent, well, do you help me with closing costs? Redfin rebates you 1% if you're a buyer. So, and I've seen that. And Redfin has buyer's agents. They just get paid to open doors. They get paid, I think, $50 to $65 a door. And I saw one come into an open house once, and she just goes up, opens up the door and she tells the buyers, there's the upstairs. Because she had this extensive real estate knowledge to know that those stairs went to the upper level. I was poking fun at her. That's all. She knew nothing about the house. They came down, they left, and it wasn't my listing. And they called me and said, hey, we'd like to put an offer on the house. I go, yeah, I wish I could write it, but I understand it just went under contract an hour ago. That agent didn't even ask them if they were interested in the property. So sometimes those ones that just unlock doors for you aren't gonna really help you. I got a comment here that says, oh, and my husband was an intelligence analyst. No personal items, please. I can figure out where you have lived, how many kids you have, even their names stenciled on the walls. Holy cow. Does an appraisal affect your list price? What legal power does an appraisal have? I heard you say the market will tell you what your house is worth. Look, the appraisal doesn't have any legal binding problems for you. It's just you're borrowing money from a financial institution, and they want to know if that home is worth what you offered. So if they determine it's not worth that, then you have to kick in the extra money. Now, let's say, again, I'll use a $400,000 house, and you put it on the market for 400, and you offered them, you went in and offered them 440. The appraisal comes in at 420. The bank says, that's all I'm giving you. Then you have to bring $20,000 extra to the table. But in this market right now, people aren't worried about it because in 60 days, it's already worth that extra $20,000. So they're not worried about appraisals. FHA appraisals stick with a property for, I think, 90 days. So if you get an FHA appraisal, let's say you were buying a house for $350 and you offered $375 and it came in at $360, and you go, well, nope, I'm walking away from this deal. That $360 sticks with the house on FHA only. Conventional, doesn't matter. VA, they give you what's called Tidewater. They send you an email and go, we have Tidewater on this house, which means it didn't hit your offer price, the appraisal. But they don't tell you how much. But they give you a really cool form where you get to put in comps that perhaps they didn't see, and so that you can justify the offer price, and the selling agent can justify the sales price. And we hit that one last time. We came in at 655, and by the time VA came back with what we sent them, which was updated information, they came in at 663. So we had winners on all sides. So it doesn't affect the list price. There were some lawsuits nationally where Zillow was getting their pantsuit off of them because people were putting their homes on the market in a place like Illinois for $700,000. And Zillow put on there, the Zillow value was $640. Well, they had remodeled everything in this house, and they called Zillow, can you please change that? Oh, no, it's just an algorithm. So they sued them. And because you're trying to sell your house for $700,000 because you put all this money into it, and you've got the most popular website in the country saying it's only worth $640, people hang their hat on that. I'm not going to give you $700. Zillow says it's worth $640. So they had to get in and kind of change that a little bit and give you the opportunity to call them and go, hey, I'm listing it at $700. Now, when you list it at $700, they don't give you a Zestimate anymore. That's good. So I don't lose a lot of sleep over appraisals effect, Patriot, on list price. List price can be anything you want it to be. If it's too high, nobody's going to see it. If it's too low, people are going to beat your door down to get that house. So that being said, I hope you learned something with the different kind of options you got. I hope it helped you to know what kind of questions to ask. And good luck. And if you want any help in listing your home or just answering questions about listing your home, please contact me. I had somebody the other day that thought that I was only concentrating on buyers. No, I just felt that in this market, buyers need a lot more help and guidance in figuring out where the market is. But when it comes to listing a house, you're driving the bus now. So you do your shopping. You can figure out the best deal. You're not stuck at 6%. That doesn't mean 6% is not a bad fee to pay, because even though realtors look and see that, oh gosh, this guy's only offering 2%, we're legally bound to show that home if you want to see it. But the dirty little secret is some people go, I'm not going to show that one. I'm only going to the 3%ers. They'll lose their license eventually, but in the meantime, there's probably homes out there you're not seeing. So I hope that helps. Everybody take on the day and have a terrific weekend. Enjoy the weather.